issues. There was obviously all of the issues with the hack checks, but the players got emailed a good long time before the event that these hack checks were going to be taking place, so they were warned about it coming into the tournament. So
So
if you didn't act
what
on
actually
that,
happened? Like, I know they do hack checks in general, but were they looking through people's boxes? And
yeah,
I heard, and looking for hacked
yeah.
Pokemon.
Yeah, so if you had anything in your game that was hacked or they could detect was hacked, then yeah. But I don't know the exact details on the hack checks, so I don't exactly know what they were, how far they were going with them.
I just heard
But
rumors, so I was curious to see
yeah,
what was going on.
we didn't really get told how far they were going with the hack checks. But like, all I'll say is this is the people that make the games, so imagine they would go as far as they can go, and
Well, apparently,
they probably
even
got
modifying your Switch in Japan is like you can get jail time for it, like 5 years.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, on that basis, like they can probably go down to the bite level with Pokemon to see if they're hacked, and they'll be able to detect it, So, um, like, but the players, like I say, the players were warned about it coming into the tournament. They knew this was going to be happening, and I think if that was me, I generally build all my teams from scratch. Like, I do, right? You've seen me up at the early hours of the morning before an event, like grinding cherish shells and stuff.
the aggro getting DQ'd, especially if you're doing well in an event. So,
and at Worlds, right? You've worked so
Worlds.
hard all season, right, to get to Worlds. Like, if you haven't built a team all season for the one event, it's not going to hurt, and it doesn't take long to do on Disqualified. And they just released that new raid event, right, where you got Blissey, so there was no excuse for you not to have a reason to easily get Terra Shards that you needed. It literally, with the Blissey event, it takes you like 10 minutes to maybe get the amount of Terra Shards that you need with just battling a couple of Blessies, right? So, they literally give everything to you on a plate leading up to the event to do it legit. So, yeah, I do feel sorry for the players that did it, but in a way, I think you're doing you're not doing yourself any favors by just ignoring all of the messages. It's like the people that make the games, so they're gonna make sure that, because they don't want any issues on stream, I would imagine, or the integrity of the tournament being affected by anything being shown on stream that is going to be like suspicious in any sort of way. And I think that's why they did it. Whether they're going to continue doing them like this into the new season, I don't know. But my best advice would be just take a little bit of time, make your team in game, and you'll have no problems at all, and don't rely on other people unless you 100% trust them to give you Pokemon.
Yeah. That is the thing. Like, I think there is a lot of people. It's so easy to get a hacked Pokemon now, especially with the bots on Twitch. Like, you could easily, innocently get one without realizing for a trade or whatever. So I mean, it's a tough one, because then, like, well, what do you keep any Pokemon that you've traded? Like, how do you trust it? So
I think of like Wonder Trade and stuff, it makes it really difficult.
Yeah.
I think what I would probably do is just get like a clean cart that I hadn't done any Wonder Trades on, or had anything received that I traded.
You have to buy another cart though.
Yeah, and that's a problem. I mean, it's that, or I'll lose the original save, and if you put like countless hours into that, you don't really want to lose it. It's probably better off just having a clean.
Someone said you could set up another account on your Switch and do it that way, but then you'd have to buy Nintendo Switch Online again. It might be cheaper to do it that way. Can you do it that way?
No, you don't need to. Your Nintendo Switch Online would work for a different profile.
I would. So couldn't you just?
It would, yeah.
Couldn't you just create another profile and then do another?
Yeah, but you'd have to start the game again. You're like, yeah.
Oh, you still have to start the game again.
Yeah, so you'd have to start a new save. It would be a new save on that profile. But I mean, it's a way around it using the same cart.
That's
what
I mean.
For sure.
You wouldn't have to buy another cart.
Yeah. So that is definitely a way to do it. For me though, I would be like, I'm just gonna, because I got a spare Violet, so I'm just like, I've just used that, I think, for competitive play next season. Not that I hack anything, but like you say,
so easy to get one.
I do streams where I'm trading with completely random people, like the main cohort of our community. Like, I 100% trust that they're not sending me hacked Pokemon.
Yeah, I know.
But there are random people that jump into the stream all the time, and then I'll get a random Pokemon. I've had hacked Pokemon, like obviously hacked Pokemon sent to me on stream. Those weird ones from those websites with they've got the name in the Pokemon name and stuff like that. So, to say some of the other ones aren't as well. And I would hate to be like, oh, I got caught out at a tournament because I traded with someone and that's not even my Pokemon, but because it was in my boxes, DQ'd from the tournament. Who knows how far they're going to go with it. But in a way, I like to see these hack techs being kind of brought in because I think for the integrity of the tournament, for the integrity of the player base that make their teams, right? It's nice for them. But I think if they're going to do it, I think
to make it
really
easier to make teams in game.
100%. I think they need to make there needs to be a wall. Like they need to take down the wall to make it harder. The barrier entry is still too high.
And they need to have. We've been talking about it for ages, but they can't have both. They have to make the hack checks really hard or like really good, which is essentially what they're doing. But in exchange, they have to make it way more accessible to make. Because the reason people do hack, because it doesn't really give you a competitive advantage, is just because of the amount of time it takes. Especially grinding things like Terror Shards. I know they've done the Blissey events recently, but before that, you had basically, before the first Blissey event, you had like, when we went to Utrecht, bro, I grinded like 10 hours to get the Terror Shards. Like, you should not have to grind that long just to, like, I get it, all these little intricacies, but like, there's literally no reason for it to be like that. So
you shouldn't. And like for ability patches, it's exactly the same. I 100% agree with you on that. I think there's no need to have to grind like that much. A team shouldn't, like I do say a team's easy to put together, but you're still spending a good 2-3 hours easy. And that's if you've got everything in place already before you start building the team. Like you've got your level up candies, you've got the majority of your Terror Shards there.
Also, before the DLC came as well, obviously this is not out yet, but there's still currently, without the DLC, no way to reset IVs other than like the berries. But like, and that's incredibly
on top of that, you got to, and then on top of that, you've got to go out and battle Pokemon. Like, battle
the
Pokemon
TM mechanic is so
TM.
stupid.
They kind of made more things for you to do to team build and get the, like, it's accessible, but it's like way more grindy, and that's not the way that they, I completely agree. I think they need to take away those aspects or make them easier if they are going to have these incredibly difficult hack checks going forward, because I think it's going to put people off playing. They're going to be like, I haven't got time to do this and practice if I'm going to have to like do this every time. And if they aren't regularly doing like events like the Blissey event, to kind of get more material very quickly. So yeah, we'll see where it goes, mate. But I'm sure with the DLCs, well, we're going to get an IV resetter. I'm sure there'll be an EV resetter as well, and I'm sure there'll be an easier way to max out your EVs if you want in certain things, and hopefully get ability patches and other stuff. So, and Terra Shot. Hopefully, there's an easier way to change your Terra type
really
as well.
Is you want a system where you can use the Pokemon you've caught, but then just modify it. Basically, really easy. You just go in, change all the IVs, change the nature, change the moves. But like, just do it. You could even set it up. Oh, this can only be used for like competitive. Like, so you can't use it in game. As soon as you put it in like the battle tower, whatever you want to call it, like that's the tournament. That's those tournament Pokemon now. You can no longer use it in game.
Yeah, they need a way to battle box lock as well. That would be helpful, and there wouldn't be any issues. But really, all they need is like an item called the customized coin, right? And that's like that. If you've got a customized coin, you take it to a vendor, and you can change anything on that Pokemon to anything it could be with just scrolling up and down menus, and it's all changed, and there's nothing else you need to do, And it could be in a battle tower sort of facility where you can do it, and customized coin might be a bit of a pain to get, but not too difficult,
Yeah, like I said, it's something that they 100% need to do if they're trying to crack down on the hack.